Tanse, Aninsigua. I'm Dorothy Mayo, and I'm here to talk a little bit about your Admin 228. It's being offered online, so we want to be able to introduce the subject matter as well as tell you a little bit about what you might learn and be able to get out of the class. This is an introduction on First Nations self-government, and we really take a long journey from perhaps even 500 years back to today, because a lot has happened to governance and governments in our communities. And so we start off by giving you a really good overview of what you'll learn, but we also do the discussion on our societies before contact and begin to talk about traditional government and how we were structured, the kind of decisions that we used to make, who elected or who selected our leaders, and those are some of the things that we really talk about, because family will be the core of those traditional governments, and our nations all are diverse and they have their own structures, how their governments were set up, and but it really is a good journey to start from there. Then we get into treaty making, the significance of treaties, how that it continues to be something that we hold on to, and that it was intended to be on top of what we already had. But we know our history, and we know that things changed. Legislation came in and started to really impact and control our lives. And from there, various legislations have dictated the way we govern in our communities. And from there, we go to the constitutional talks, and leading up to some of the dynamics that happened, the politics, and some of the legal work that had to happen, the constitutional drafting, all of those things. We really take a good look at that, and we always do this from a First Nations perspective, but we also look at the facts, the history, to get a really good sense of what kind of an experience we've had with mainstream society as well. And from there, we begin to look at Section 35, subsection 1. And often people refer to it as an empty box, you know, defining the rights, Aboriginal rights and existing treaty rights. But I think our elders have it right when they talk about that box is full. It's just that we have to implement those concepts and our ways of doing things for ourselves, so, and the way we understand. And then we go into looking at self-government agreements and the modern day treaty making process that's happening, and well over 86 self-government agreements in process today and growing. So those are some of the things that we begin to examine and see where we fit in our communities in that overall scheme of events, and how self-government has evolved over time, in certainly the last 120 years. But we know that we had our way of governing ourselves before contact, and we weigh heavily on that information, because that will be the foundation of what we do in the future. Thank you.